Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of Senegal Presidential Election Campaign Journal. Candidate Amadou Ba visited several towns in central Senegal on his campaign tour, emphasizing his commitment to addressing the country's agricultural challenges. He outlined his plans for the Saloum region, tackling soil salinity, creating jobs, and ensuring access to water clean. A report by Sheikh Omar Kamara.
On Monday, March 18, 2024, Amadou Ba led a political caravan to Nioro, continuing to present his vision for Senegal to the people. At the head of his speech, the Benno Bokk Yakaar candidate for the March 2024 presidential election said that the department of Nioro represents the true center of Senegal, underlining the strategic importance of this region of the Grand North Basin. This natural region alone accounts for 57% of Senegal's arable land.
Nioro must be a development hub. It's the center of Senegal. A lot of opportunities are going to come out of here and be transported to Dakar. The first challenge facing the Grand North Basin is that the land is depleted in the soil saline. As a result, we are about to launch a major land restoration project in the Saloum.
In a vibrant rally in Kaolack, Amadou Ba highlights a crucial challenge for the country: soil desalination. He firmly expressed his commitment to solving this major problem, which is hampering agricultural development and impacting the lives of Senegalese citizens. This is an ongoing commitment, as the state of Senegal has, 2018, initiated a rural water and sanitation project that has enabled drinking water supply works to be carried out in Kaolack, Kaffrine, and Fatick in the central regions of Senegal.
We have to have a special program to make the soil fertile to get good yields, and the soil becomes saline. There are techniques to desalinate it. We have the funds for this project, and we will find a way to make the soil more fertile. Our aim is to achieve food sovereignty.
The day's meetings with the population continued in Kaffrine, where Amadou Ba promised a policy of land fertilization aimed at guaranteeing total food sovereignty for Senegal. This ambitious initiative should provide sustainable economic opportunities for farming communities.
Mamadou Diao, whose real name is Mamadou Diao, is a Senegalese politician, tax and property inspector, and a candidate in the presidential election of 24 March 2024. He advocates policy based on progressive ideas and pragmatic solutions to challenges facing Senegal. A portrait by Pauline Minka.
Among the 19 candidates for the March 2024 presidential election is 54-year-old Mamadou Diao, leader of the Diao 2024 coalition. In his program, the former managing director of the Caisse des dépôts et de consignation du Sénégal presents the Senegalese with his priority actions once at the head of the country. According to him, women must be at the heart of the fight for Senegal's development. This is why he says he is fighting for the emancipation of Senegalese women. With a firm commitment to establishing strict parity in the government he will put in place on the evening of March 24.
Our fight for women's emancipation requires a firm and irrevocable commitment to strict parity. If there is a government of 30 ministers, there will be 50 male ministers and 50 female ministers. It's time for women to be real players in our country's development.
Aware of the importance of youth in society, the former director of Regional Tax Services intends to focus on Senegal's education system to encourage innovation and entrepreneurship. In addition, he will address the issue of youth employability in localities such as Ranérou, where the youth unemployment rate remains alarmingly high, despite the department's unexploited potential resources once elected.
I affirm my commitment to the young people of the locality, particularly on the issue of employability. I want to improve the quality of life of the people of Ranérou, who are often forgotten and threatened by poverty.
With an inclusive approach, the mayor of Kalda in the south of the country is calling on his fellow citizens to vote for something new by choosing the Diao 24 coalition on March 24.
According to Africa Metrics, 55% of Senegalese voters consider the issue of employability to be crucial and want the next president of the republic to prioritize education and vocational training in his public policies. Citizens' opinions gathered by Mamadou.
In Senegal,
Many job seekers often lack vocational training, rendering the government's massive recruitment of efforts ineffective. Several candidates in the presidential election on 24 March 2024 are taking this reality into account in their proposals for reforming education and vocational training. According to an Africa Metrics survey on people's reason for voting, 55% of Senegalese want the next president of the Republic to make this a priority.
Pour l'enseignement supérieur au Sénégal,
For higher education in Senegal, I think we need a paradigm shift. Instead of thousands of students every year coming to the University of Dakar to become cartouches, unemployed people who won't have a job or anything at all.
ils n'ont pas de métier, non rien.
Many candidates say they are going to strengthen training centers. We agree. But what's even more interesting is to train the teachers who will be training the students.
Nous attendons pour
We expect the next president of the Republic to implement public policies to develop human capital and avoid what is known as the brain drain.
humain.
In fact, Amadou Ba, the candidate of the Benno Bokk Yakaar coalition, plans in Axis 2 of his vision of an emerging Senegal to allocate 25.7% of financial resources to improving the well-being of the population by prioritizing education and training. One of the main challenges for the next president of the Republic of Senegal to be elected on 24 March 2024 will therefore be to reconcile employment needs with technical and vocational training programs. Several African countries, including Senegal, reaffirmed their commitment to take action to resolve conflicts, consolidate peace, and manage disaster risk. The Dakar Call to Action, signed on 6 and 7 April 2022, is a joint player to mitigate the disproportionate impact of these crises on the world's population, a subject of Hadji.
Since 2020, the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic and the geopolitical tensions arising from the Russian-Ukrainian conflict have sharply reduced the medium-term budgetary margins of African countries, exacerbating vulnerabilities linked to public debt. By the end of May 2020-2023, countries on the continent were at high risk of debt distress.
Africa is facing a major food and nutrition crisis for the third year running, and we urgently need to strengthen our response mechanisms to deal with the situation. With IDA 20 resources, we will invest in priority development areas to overcome structural challenges such as fragility, climate change, and environmental degradation. We are committed to improving agricultural productivity through innovation in food value chains and to developing agriculture climate change in order to reduce our dependence on food imports.
In Senegal, for example, the impact of the pandemic on family farms indicate a drop in income for 95% of households. Between 17 and 30% have had to reduce the number of daily meals. To this end, the Dakar Call to Action is intended as an expression of commitment to a strong recovery and sustainable inclusive transformation of African economies in partnership with the International Development Association.
In this critical context for Africa, we welcome the success of the record replenishment of IDA resources, totaling $93 billion US, together with the World Bank Group entities responsible for public and private sector financing. We are committed to defining and operationalizing urgently and optimally the projects and programs that will enable us to meet our development challenges. Call to Action Dakar.
Appel à l'action de Dakar.
As the agricultural sector is one of the main sources of employment in West Africa and accounts for 35% of the region's gross domestic product, $20 million has been approved for Senegal in 2020. For fiscal year 2024, Senegal has set its budget for the Ministry of Agriculture, Rural Equipment and Food at over 219 billion francs CFA.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this campaign diary. We thank you and look forward to seeing you for other episodes on Africa 24.